Charlie Chaplin stands at the edge of a crowded state fair, watching hundreds of people dressed exactly like him. The irony isn't lost on him. In 3 minutes, he'll discover that 19 strangers do a better job at being Charlie Chaplin than Charlie Chaplin himself. San Francisco, 1915. Saturday afternoon, 2:30. The California State Fair sprawls across dusty fields in the October heat. Red and white striped tents stretch in every direction. The smell of roasted peanuts and cotton candy hangs thick in the air. A brass band plays somewhere in the distance. Children run between game booths, clutching prizes. Adults move slowly in the heat, fanning themselves with programs. Charlie is 26 years old, 5 films into what will become a legendary career. The Tramp character is barely a year old, but already America has gone mad for him. Chaplainitis, the newspapers call it. Every vaudeville house runs Chaplin impersonation contests. Every costume party is half filled with men in bowler hats and baggy pants. Street performers copy his walk. Children mimic his mustache with burnt cork. Charlie came to the fair alone. No entourage, no publicity team, just him in regular clothes. Dark wool suit, clean-shaven, hair combed back properly. He looks like a young businessman, not the world's most famous comedian. That's intentional. He's tired of being recognized everywhere, tired of people expecting him to perform, to be on every moment he's in public. He's walking past the game booths when he sees the sign. Hand-painted letters on a wooden board. Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest. 2:30 today. Grand prize $25. $25? That's serious money in 1915. More than most working men make in a week. A crowd has gathered around a makeshift stage. Maybe 300 contestants, all dressed as the Tramp. Bowler hats, canes, oversized shoes, painted-on mustaches. Some look remarkably convincing. Others are obvious amateurs. But they're all trying to capture something Charlie created just months ago. The organizer climbs onto the stage, a heavy-set man in a striped vest, sweating profusely in the heat. He raises his hands for quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Charlie Chaplin contest. We have nearly 300 brave souls ready to show us their best tramp walk. Our distinguished panel of judges will narrow it down to the top 20, then the final winner. Charlie finds himself studying the contestants. Some have the costume perfect, but move wrong. Others have the walk, but their face doesn't match. A few come close, capturing something essential about the character's melancholy beneath the comedy. One contestant catches Charlie's attention. A young man, maybe 19, thin build, natural grace in his movement. He hasn't applied the fake mustache yet. His bowler hat sits at exactly the right angle. When he takes a few practice steps, Charlie feels something he's never experienced before. He's watching someone else be the Tramp, and doing it well. The organizer continues. Contest is open to any man, any age. Entry fee is 50 cents. Winner takes home $25 and the title of San Francisco's best Charlie Chaplin. 50 cents to enter. Charlie reaches into his pocket. He has the money. More importantly, he has something none of these contestants possess. He is Charlie Chaplin. But that's not entirely true, is it? He's Charles Spencer Chaplin, son of music hall performers, raised in London workhouses, struggling actor who found success in America. The Tramp is his creation, but the Tramp is also separate from him. A character, a performance. And these people aren't trying to imitate Charles Chaplin, the man. They're trying to capture the Tramp. Without the costume, without the mustache, without the character's physicality, is he still recognizable? Can he win a contest based on something he invented? Charlie approaches the registration table. A young woman with a clipboard looks up at him. Entering the contest, sir? Yes. She looks him up and down, takes in his clean suit, his properly groomed appearance. Do you have a costume? No. She frowns. Well, you'll need the outfit. Bowler hat, cane, the works. There's a costume tent right over there. They're renting complete sets for $2. Charlie hands over $2.50, gets a receipt. The costume tent is crowded with contestants making last-minute adjustments. Charlie finds a corner, puts on the baggy pants, the tight coat, the oversized shoes, picks up a cane, looks at himself in a cracked mirror. Without the mustache, he looks like every other contestant, maybe less convincing than some. The mustache is essential to the character. It's small, dark, perfectly trimmed. It suggests respectability trying to maintain dignity despite circumstances. It's the key visual element that makes the tramp recognizable. But Charlie decides against it. He wants to see if he can win without the most obvious identifier. If his movement, his understanding of the character, his creation of the entire persona can carry him. 10 minutes later, the contest begins. The judges sit at a table in front of the stage. 3 local businessmen, the mayor's wife, and a theater owner. They have scorecards and stern expressions. They're taking this seriously. Contestant number 1. The participants line up. Charlie finds himself near the middle of the pack, 147. The contestants ahead of him take the stage one by one. Each gets 30 seconds to demonstrate the tramp walk, a signature gesture, maybe a brief pantomime. Some are terrible, stiff, awkward, clearly uncomfortable. Others show genuine talent. A few draw applause from the crowd. The young man Charlie noticed earlier, contestant 93, gives a flawless performance. Perfect walk, impeccable timing, natural grace. The judges make enthusiastic notes. Contestant 147. Charlie climbs onto the stage. The crowd goes quiet. He can feel hundreds of eyes studying him. The judges lean forward, pencils ready. For a moment, he forgets the contest, forgets the crowd. Something deeper takes over. He doesn't perform the tramp. He becomes the tramp. The character flows through him like water finding its natural course. He starts with the walk. Not the exaggerated version most people attempt, but the subtle original. The feet splayed, the cane twirling, the body listing slightly forward as if perpetually late for something important. But there's restraint in it, control. The walk of a gentleman who refuses to acknowledge his circumstances have changed. 30 seconds. He fills it with a complete story. The tramp encounters an invisible flower girl, tips his hat, reaches for money that isn't there. Embarrassment. A creative solution involving the cane and an imaginary coin found on the ground. Dignity restored. A bow to the lady. Exit with renewed confidence. The crowd is silent when he finishes. Not polite silence, stunned silence. They've just watched something perfect, and they know it. Charlie returns to the line of contestants, waits with everyone else. The judges deliberate for 20 minutes, compare notes, discuss, point at various contestants. Charlie can't hear the conversation, but he sees them gesture toward the young man who performed so well, sees them flip through their scorecards. Finally, the organizer returns to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, after careful consideration, our judges have made their decisions. The crowd presses closer. Contestants hold their breath. In 20th place, Charlie's number isn't called. Neither is the talented young man's. In 10th place, still nothing. The announcements continue. 5th place, 4th, 3rd. Charlie isn't mentioned. The young man who caught his attention earlier places 2nd. Solid performance, well-deserved recognition. And our winner, San Francisco's best Charlie Chaplin impersonator, contestant number 73, Tommy Morrison. The crowd erupts. Contestant 73 takes the stage. He's good, Charlie admits. Crowd-pleasing performance, enthusiastic energy. He earned the victory. Charlie slips away from the crowd, changes back into his regular clothes, returns the rented costume. No one recognizes him. No one stops him. He's just another failed contestant leaving quietly. Walking back through the fair, Charlie processes what happened. He entered a contest to find the best Charlie Chaplin impersonator, and he lost, badly. Didn't even place in the top 20. But here's what the judges didn't understand. They weren't judging Charlie Chaplin impersonators, they were judging Tramp impersonators. And the Tramp, as performed by others, had evolved beyond Charlie's original creation. These contestants weren't copying him, they were copying each other. They were performing a collective understanding of what the tramp should be, more exaggerated than Charlie's version, more obviously comic, more immediately recognizable to an audience that had seen dozens of Tramp imitators, but maybe only one or two actual Chaplin films. Without his mustache, without the visual shorthand that screams, "This is Charlie Chaplin," he was just another performer doing his version of a character that had taken on its own life. The irony settles on him like dust from the fairgrounds. He created something so successful that it no longer belonged to him. The audience preferred the interpretation to the original. They wanted the Tramp to be bigger, broader, more cartoonish than Charlie had ever intended. 3 weeks later, Charlie is in his studio working on his next film. His assistant, Rob, mentions reading about a Chaplin contest in the newspaper. Says here some guy named Tommy Morrison won $25 for Best Charlie Chaplin Impersonation at the State Fair. You ever see any of these contests, Charlie? Charlie looks up from his script. Once or twice. Must be flattering, having all those people try to copy you. Charlie considers this. It's interesting to see how they interpret the character. Think you could win one of those contests? Charlie returns to his script. I'm not sure that's the point. But privately, Charlie starts paying closer attention to the imitators, studies what they emphasize, what they exaggerate, what audiences respond to. Some of their innovations are brilliant. Some capture aspects of the character he never consciously developed. Over the next few months, Charlie incorporates some of these elements into his own performances, not copying the imitators exactly, but learning from their interpretations of his creation. The Tramp evolves, becomes richer, more complex. Years later, a journalist asks Charlie about the lookalike contests, whether he ever attended one. The Tramp belongs to everyone now, Charlie says. I created him, but the audience completed him. Sometimes the children understand the character better than the parent. He never mentions entering the contest, never tells anyone he lost to 19 other versions of himself. But he keeps the memory, uses it to remind himself that creation is just the beginning. What matters is what the world does with what you make. In 1925, Charlie makes The Gold Rush. The Tramp's movements in that film are subtly different from his 1915 performances, more refined, more economical, but also more broadly appealing. He's learned from the imitators who learned from him. The character that emerges is neither the original Tramp nor the exaggerated version performed by contest winners. It's something new, a synthesis. The creator taking lessons from his students, even when those students don't know they're teaching. Charlie Chaplin lost a Charlie Chaplin lookalike contest in 1915, but in losing, he gained something more valuable than $25. He learned that great art doesn't belong to its creator. It belongs to everyone who understands it deeply enough to make it their own. And sometimes, in the hands of someone who truly gets it, the copy can teach the original how to be better.